if it wasn't orange. Oh, I like purple. I like purple so much.
You do like purple so much.
I like purple.
Oh, and he's wearing a purple hoodie.
Oh, dude, you're wearing purple too.
Purple goes hard as fuck, huh?
Yeah.
We were just saying, I changed our whites purple, and he was pumped about it.
Yeah, but the fuck, yeah, purple's a sick color, man. It's a nice shade between blue and the other one.
That's the dumb thing you say.
Purple's a fruit.
Yep. There's that.
I like that. That's a good. That makes sense. I don't know why that makes sense, but that does make sense.
Yeah,
Isn't
it
from
does.
like The Simpsons.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
it's some dumb quote.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
dude, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I love your guys' crazy fucking videos and stuff.
Thank you very much,
We
dude.
appreciate that.
Yeah, it's coming from the GOAT of reactions himself. Bah.
I'm so not, bro. PewDiePie is the fucking goat at this point. He's the dude who was doing the playthroughs like fucking 10 years back, and then
Minecraft and shit.
Yeah, I feel like that's really like the start of reaction videos. It's like all the way back to like gamers doing walkthroughs and people watching them do like horror game walkthroughs, and then just applying that concept to things that require them to do like just to watch things instead of play things.
I still can't wrap my head around that.
Yeah, and then the metal scene. I remember. Well, Jared did the Doris reaction, Suicide Silence, but also before that, Truant reacts, who was in here, who was he was here a while back. He was doing a lot of reacts, and he just left. He just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, so a lot of the people doing reactions now don't even know who the fuck he is, because like he did. But
that's me. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah. So
when we started this channel, I didn't know what reactions were. Johnny messaged me. He was like, it was during COVID. He's like, do you want to do some reactions with me? I was like, I don't know what that is.
I did them as a joke at first, because like I did guitar covers mainly, right? So that was my way to, new song come out, and for some reason, some way for me to like, do something with it or share that art or, analyze that art in some way. It was a guitar cover, but there was just always bands where it was like a post-hardcore band or something where it's like, yeah, it's not guitar. Like, I'm not gonna do guitar cover. There's like 3 notes in here, right? But I was still interested to check out the song. So that's when I started to realize, well, like, okay, well, let me just do like the bands I assume will have like no guitar work, and let's just do a reaction. Like, it's a joke, because this is like something that's apparently a thing now. And they did better than the guitar covers, and I was like, damn, okay, that's depressing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, here I am.
Why have genuine talent when you can have banter?
Well, I also started to appreciate that more than I also did guitar covers for so long, man. I did that for like 4 years straight. Like, I almost made 1,000 guitar covers, like videos of guitar covers. Like, it was quite a bit. So because I did it for so long that like when I did do reactions, it was fun. I got to include my personality. I got to just talk. It was much more relaxing too. It's not as stressful. It was a medium. Not necessarily that I preferred, but that was a nice change of pace once I started to actually, be like, oh, this is actually like fun and not just a meme, stupid thing that people are doing. I get it now. Yeah.
So you just said it's something that was interesting to me. Like, I get to show my personality more. I think that means that he has twice the personality of us, because we have someone else to banter off. You do it by yourself. I don't think we could do that. Hell no, am I not watching myself just sit there, watch something and talk to myself. I would not be interested.
I'm just a weird introverted dude, so like that's the thing. Like I'm like, I mean, it's funny because even watch it, like I've seen some of my videos 3 years ago. Sometimes and I'll go back and be like, wow, I'm fucking weird and awkward. Like yeah, it is. It just I still wasn't comfortable until like really recently. I'd say like within the last couple of years, I became more comfortable because I just didn't really care. Like, people could say whatever. I'm just doing my thing, having fun. Been doing this for a while, so might as well just enjoy it and not really care. Terms with what people might think and all that, but yeah, it's just I'm a little crazy in that sense, so I'm like, this is just me. I like listening to music. I mean, I'm that dude when I'm writing songs, like I'll go like around the room and fucking like throw down if something goes hard, and like if I get that natural like animalistic energy, like I mean, it's just like let's go. So that's it's perfect medium for me, I guess, to do some of that stuff.
If I walk off camera for 5 seconds, Johnny just loses his damn mind. He's like, I don't know what to say or do anymore.
Dude, I'm not the internet guy. Hey, like I'm comfortable talking about music because I've just loved it and done it for so long.
And I'm very old.
Very, very old. And I'm comfortable sort of bantering with my friend. But
Yeah.
like I've talked about, like, because we obviously would love to dip our toes into the Twitch sort of world, but it's just so
Yeah.
hard getting together when, like, you know, like we've got families, and like I've got kids, and he's got like full-time work, and he's got like businesses that he runs. So I have
Right.
sort of tossed up the idea of doing Twitch by myself. I just don't know if I'd be able to. I don't know if I'd be. Maybe it would be easy because like you've got people in the comments you can kind of chat back with and talk to.
Yeah.
But I just, yeah, I freeze up when he walks away. I was like, dude, are you coming back now? Like, what the fuck?
Well, you guys have a great synergy. I will say, I've seen a lot of duos do the reaction stuff, and like you guys have dope synergy. Like it's fun banter, it's natural, you know. So like that runs really well. But I'm sure you guys, it's weird to solo dolo, you know, especially when you start out with it. But like once you get comfortable, you're not really solo dolo if you're streaming because like you're there with your chat, your community, and you really have to make it like a conversation and enjoyable and something fun. And that's something I start to value a lot more when I started streaming and realizing like what works, what doesn't, and what did I actually have fun doing. It wasn't just me sitting there doing, you know, playing video games because like it's hard for me to communicate or chat or doing something that distracts me a lot. It was the best times for me doing something or talking about something or discussing something and talking with them and getting that feedback back and forth and, you know, having like a conversation with them as if they were right there, you know what I mean?
Fully.
Yeah, they must love that. You know, like obviously as the subscribers grow and you've got fans and all that sort of stuff, they must love that connection because it's one of those things that, yeah, I feel like reactors basically, you know, especially when we do things like interviews and you do the streams checking out music with artists, and it kind of gives a link between fan and artist. And so to have an even closer connection by being able to talk to the reactors while they're doing stuff, it must be a pretty cool thing. It's definitely something that was not around when I was growing up, that's for sure. Go on,
Music
Nathan.
didn't
Yeah,
exist
there
when
we
you
go.
were growing up.
Yeah, no, it's 100% like it's something important. And also like I used to, before I streamed a little bit more seriously, it was like, here's my time to hang with my community. That's really what I would do it for. It's like, here's, you know, I finished my YouTube work of the day, like let's go hang out with the community and make a chill thing. And you know, like I don't like the words I don't like to use the word like humanize, but almost kind of humanize myself more for my audience. Like, hey, like I'm like, sure, like I grind my ass off and I work hard and I love doing this, but like I'm a metalhead, you know, I'm a dude who like did this for 6 years in my bedroom, living with my, you know, my mom. Like it wasn't anything special when I started. Like I just like this stuff. I turned on the camera and I kind of went with it, you know. I don't have that crazy god complex or any of that. I'm just like, yeah, I'm a dude who does this, who, you know, I'm aware of my strengths and what I do, and I'm very aware of my weaknesses. I don't need people to tell me my weaknesses.
No. I got this. Don't worry.
Yeah, for sure.
That's something that I think was great to be able to humanize yourself and be a part of the community, to get rid of that weird, you know, like, because that's also something that's sometimes weird, like when it goes too far, when someone like idolizes you to a crazy extreme point where it's like, I don't know what you want me to do right now. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want, like, do you need me to live it? Do you want just like a high? Do you want like, I don't, you know what I mean? When it goes too crazy. But also having a reasonable thing and separation of like, you know, like I respect my chat and like, hey, if you see me at a show, come say hi and all that stuff. And just knowing where boundaries are, and also but keeping a sense of like I'm just a dude that likes metal too. Like it's really nothing. It's nothing crazy. I'm a dude that likes metal that just really went all out for their fucking goal and their passion with it. But yeah, I think that's.
You touched then about if people come and see you at a show, and also saying that you're like an introverted sort of person.
Yeah.
How does that experience go for you? Because like I'm the exact opposite. I couldn't be more extroverted. I'm just like happy to hang and talk with anyone anytime. And because I come from like a athlete side of things, so I've done like meet and greets and that sort of thing. So I'm used to like standing and having people waiting in line and coming to talk to you. I've had that experience. And the first time we've had people come up at shows, Johnny's like, this is a weird thing. I don't know how to feel about it. But you're also pretty extroverted anyway. So we'll sit and chat with someone and like be like, you can just stay and watch the show with us if you want. Like there's no like come say hi and leave. How's that experience for you as someone that maybe doesn't want to have the social thing for as long, or like you want to set your boundaries?
Yeah, I mean, if I go to a show and it's not like it's just something I'm like, okay, like the Toronto scene is not very big, and usually there are people that somewhat who might come up to me, so it's like I get more of that mindset if it does happen, so it's less like the fuck, it's like, oh yeah, like I'm at a show, it's I have had times where I'm at like the grocery store, it's more like surprising, I'm like, but it's even that's very rare. They're like, hey, you get Nocturnal, I'm like, yeah, like I'm here in my like slippers and like my track pants, like about to get some like ice cream in the middle of the night. Like, what's up? And that's the thing that I've always had. People that come up to me, they're always really respectful, which is great. I haven't had any like people that were really crazy or over the top. A lot of them just understood. Again, that simple. They just wanted like to say hi.
Yeah,
thanks
so
for
they
being-
like your stuff, yeah. Which
Yeah.
I find it really humbling. Like I did find it a little
Yeah,
bit
exactly.
strange when people wanted to like take photos with you, because I'm like, I'm literally just a dude that talks about music on YouTube. But it is really humbling, and I do sort of like, now that I'm a little bit more comfortable with it, I do sort of encourage it, because like I'm the same. If I saw someone out in public that I sort of respected and even liked their
Yeah.
opinion, I'd want to let them know.
Yeah.
That at shows I'm used to it now, but it's when like
Yeah.
you're just like walking through the shopping center and someone stops you and goes, "Hey, like
You're that dickhead. Yes, I am.
you're the old dickhead." And I was just like, yeah, like it's still really
Yeah.
cool, but yeah, it's still
Yeah,
something
it's
that I'm
just
getting
it's just
used
more
to.
it's more off guard when it's that. But yeah, if I'm going to a show, I'm like, I'll be in a bit more of an extroverted mentality. That's I guess kind of the thing. So I'm like, hey, if someone comes up to me, it won't be like, oh, fuck. It'll be like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, thanks. And like I said, they're usually pretty respectful. They usually just want to say hi, picture, just give you a props, and they just like are like because they want to go enjoy the show too. I'm like, yeah, go
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
The thing is as well, like
so-
you share so much of your personality on the internet. Those people
Right.
that come and say hi, they know you. They actually know you for who you are. And so for them,
Right.
it's not necessarily a weird thing for them, like going up to a stranger and saying hi. They're like, I'm going and saying hi to this person I've watched 10 times in the past week.
Right.
I'm very comfortable with them. It maybe doesn't get recognized that you don't know them the same way, but I think this community is super respectful and cool too, because we're all here for the same reason, that we love music.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly that's the thing. I've just been very fortunate. I think people who like that have come up to me and just they're super nice. They understand that, again, that sense of boundary, which no one has even come close to going really over me, which is great because like I'm doing this for a bit. I expect there's to be some couple like really crazy motherfuckers that just like just kind of go all crazy. But no, it's like everyone's just been really nice. And
Someone
like,
just comes up and opens their shirt and it's just a giant Nick tattoo.
that would be sick. I'd sign it if they.
Speaking of,
But yeah, no, it's been really cool and relaxing, at least with the Toronto scene here. Everyone's just really nice, and I've never ever had an issue. And like I said, if I go to a show, then I just get more of an extroverted mindset. And yeah, have a great time, and everyone seems to have a good time and get to chill with the bands, and yeah, it's super chill.
I thought it was so rad the other week when you, Burb, and Bogdan were all at the Aero show together. I'm like, oh, this is so nice and so like heartwarming to
Wholesome.
see. Yeah, wholesome to
Yeah.
see three like
So we
reactors all hanging out.
None of us knew this. We all live a block from each other, apparently. Yeah.
No way.
So me and Metalburg knew this because like we've hung out before. Like he's actually my neighbor. Like I can't see him from my window. He's on the other side in the building across the street, like legitimately across the fucking street, which is funny. And then Bogdan apparently is also just like fucking like literally just down the street. I didn't know that. We're just like, oh, that's cool.
I like
Did
that.
you guys know that you were going to be at the same show? Did you already know that beforehand?
No,
Because I was literally watching stories. I'm like, wait, and it was just like, I think like Bogdan Hardcore was literally like meters from you. I'm like, they are super close to each other. I wonder if they're
just
together.
standing like this.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
watching it unfold, and then at the end, it was just like
Watching it
we're all
unfold
together.
like a comedy reality show.
Let's see
Yeah,
if they
no,
make
yeah.
contact.
Yeah, there's a lot of so weird. A lot of people do the reaction videos in Toronto. It's just cool, yeah. So it's just like, yeah, I've known Metalburg for a minute. But Bogdan, that was the first time I met him in person, was at the Aero show, even though we've been apparently to the same shows like 10 times and we've just never seen each other.
That's amazing.
But yeah, Toronto metal scene, like it's not super small, but it's not, it's all right sized, I guess.
Well, I guarantee it's better than the Central Coast scene.
Yeah, we're an hour and a half north of Sydney in like a beach suburb coastal
Oh, shit.
area. So we used to get shows like we've seen like Bring the Horizon and Parkway and like
Right.
Evergreen Terrace and all these bands playing, but like early days in small venues before they were big.
Right.
We drive for an hour and a half if we want to see a bigger show.
Right.
So we have no friends up here.
So we have no reactors around here. I think like
There's
we've
not
got-
any in Australia though, is there?
Oh, not that I know of. Like Richo, I think he's down in Melbourne, and then Rogan Josh is in Adelaide, I believe. So
Oh, I know Rogan Josh.
yeah, but
The
that's,
only Australian ones I know is you guys and Josh. And
Yeah,
you guys
right.
are chill as fuck. Both of you.
Thanks,
Oh, we're hiding it real well. You wait. Give us 25 more minutes and just be chaos is going everywhere. How was the chat? I was overwhelmed. Hey,
It's over.
so you started doing the guitar thing, you moved into reactions. Do you have like long-term goals for what you want to do with the channel, with your career, with the community you've built? What's long term for you?
Yeah. I've accepted that this is kind of what I'm doing, as long as people let me, which is cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So yeah, I have. Well, the thing is, I do have a lot of things going on, and it's funny because like I'll do videos and people won't even know I play guitar. And I'm like, good. You know, that's how it is. People won't even know I've been in a project or bands and actually write music or any of this stuff. That's fine. I don't care. I'm a YouTuber, sure. I'm this. Whatever people find me for, if they want to say I'm a YouTuber, oh, I find you a Twitch or a streamer, you're this, or you're a random TikToker. For some reason, people find me on TikTok. I'm like, cool, thanks. Like I don't really, whatever works in that capacity. But I'm doing a lot of different things, and my goal is to, and it started to happen, is to kind of make these all blend together to this really big picture. So obviously, I started with YouTube, and I love making original content. That's something I find fun, and just doing weird meme shit, writing related things, and pushing that. And then, of course, in some capacity, being linked to doing content with the music industry, right? Bands, releases, keeping up with releases in some way, right? So I don't care if it's guitar covers doing it or if it's reactions, like in some capacity, having one kind of foot in that door.
Yeah.
Because I like to I used to do that a lot to keep up with what's hot in the scene, so I would know when I'm writing music, right? Not to copy paste trends, but to kind of see like what's the standard, to always keep up with what the standard is, what people are digging, what's something new that I could find that people are doing in this scene, right? So that's something that's very important to me that won't go away. And since the start of the pandemic, I've actually gotten really good relationships with labels and stuff because they realize that YouTubers aren't scum of the earth and they actually need us. So
some of them, some of them.
So you're working with labels in that sense and actually getting the appreciation from the labels, and then management and the band, like that's been a big thing. Which again, people don't see that because they just see, whoa, Nick has a big guest. What the fuck? How did that happen? They don't understand. The past 2 years has literally been networking and talking to labels and doing the long road, and not just thinking of a quick payoff of, oh, you want me to do this, or oh, yeah, I can react to your band on my channel and get this many views or whatever, like pay me. Like, no, I've never asked labels for payment for a single thing ever in my life, because I'm just like, I want to build a relationship, and that's something I value a lot more. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers and musicians in general don't value that long-term relationship building and networking. They just want to get the quick and easy. I want this now because this is a cool opportunity right now, and I want this, or I want money, or I want this. And they don't get that. And then that's something I've been building this, for literally the past 2-3 years now, is relationships. So now it's like these labels, these management, these bands understand the value I bring, right? Because that's the focus, and something I always tell people when they're like, well, how do I start a channel, or how do I push this, or how do I do Twitch? Is the number one mindset is always, how do I get value from this? No, how do you bring value to this space? How do you add to this space? Because if you're bringing something unique or you're adding value to this space, people want to be involved with that naturally. It's not this weird thing. It's just you're bringing something cool and you're bringing value. People want to, fuck with you for that, right? And so time with reactions and all that is really still building that and building relationships, but also building opportunities to have really cool guests, which ties with those relationships and my Twitch, and being like, look, I know how PR works. I know how much a band has usually with their time and their schedule for interviews with people. I'm very well aware of this. And I know how much value these things bring and how much conversion is brought to your band with these things and how much money you make and all these little things that, again, people don't actually talk about or care about
Yeah.
when it comes to YouTubers. So I'm like, fine, I'll be the one that takes the time. Because when I approach a lot of these labels and bands and actually get these guests on my show, I basically put it in a scenario where it's like, I'm in their shoes. Why would they want to do this? And this is how I pitch it. I will provide your guest on these Fridays. Usually we have 1,000+ live concurrent viewers.
Wow.
We're checking out your music plus other people's music. Plus, also, most importantly, your guests will probably have the best time they've ever had an interview because I'm not an annoying prick that's trying to get a headline. I just want you to have a good fucking time and chill and shoot the shit with us, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And I'm gonna be there plugging the music the entire time. Your conversion rate will be dumb because I know how much it converts to when I actually am doing that stuff and I'm live. And you're gonna make, your guest is going to make more money without this being any kind of money grabbing sponsored thing, just naturally through the vibe for 1 hour of their time than they will get anywhere else in the media world right now.
Yeah, like a whole
like
interview circuit sort of thing, like 15, 20 interviews like for their new song coming out that are all the same.
Tell me,
Yeah,
how did you come up with the song title?
Yeah.
And how do you write it?
Yeah,
exactly.
so that's the thing. I provide, when it comes to that and building relationships, I've done that. And it started with proof of concept last year. And trust me, it was a tough proof of concept because it was something new. Like, just imagine pitching that to labels. Hey, I want your guests on so we can react to other bands' music plus your music together. Thanks. Like, that was a tough pull till it started to work and they see it happen. And then again, all it takes is the guest to say, I had a good time. Management checks you off and they're like, oh, do you like this band?
Yeah.
Maybe we should. That's literally what happened. My dude Kevin, such a gem of a dude. I worked with a different band that he represented, and then it was like, oh, Mark Tremonti's doing stuff. Okay, like, sure, I'd love to have him on the show. Oh, that went really well. Hey, Dream Theater's releasing their new stuff. Sure, you know what I mean? So it's that networking and word of mouth that allows me to continuously build that and have those guests on that show because I provide value in the sense of their time being worth it, right? An hour of their time worth it, and they have a good time. So I know it's a long answer, sorry, but that's one thing.
No, hell yeah. I love just rambling, and it is cool because, like, as I said, we're fairly insular. We didn't start this because, like, oh, this is a popular thing to do. It started because we couldn't be together talking about music. And so we're like, we couldn't go to shows, let's just do it in front of a camera and see what happens. And then it is interesting to me hearing from someone that's been doing this for literally 6 years longer than we have, what your progression is and where you see it going, because the reactions is a thing now. And I don't say this, I find it to be a dirty word and I shouldn't, but I do. I don't want to be a reactor. Like, that's not where the space I want to be, because I miss things like MTV and Rage and Channel V, which were things in Australia. I miss these music shows where you connected and you got to see like the talks with the artist and they played the music and then you got exclusive stuff or like acoustic things. Those shows that were more than just the one song, you actually got to understand the artist a bit more. That was so fucking cool. And then we've been given the opportunity to be part of that. So we get to go to festivals and sit down and talk with these bands and be like, well, if I was the band, what would I want to do in this situation?
Yeah.
And then what do people want to see there? And that's so fucking rad to see the response to those and seeing videos go really well and people being like, I didn't know this about that artist, or like, this made me like them more. That's such a cool thing to hear about.
Yeah, that was the pitch for the concept for myself at Working. Where else are you going to find these big artists talking about not just their music, but checking out live big bands that you also like, and sometimes small bands that have released their first songs.
Yeah.
There's no other place this will happen. So that was the concept of it, and then it became a reality. And that's my big Twitch show now. It's every Friday we have different guests. I mean, this Friday we have Rob from Machine Head and Winston from Parkway Drive, and I'm like, let's go, why not? Right? I'll be a part of that. But so I want to keep pushing that and push that and my relationship with the label people that I know, as well as the bands and management that that fuck with me, basically, that will want to get into that and understand that I want to provide value to this space and I want to work with these bands, and with that comes more freedom to do more fun collaborations, and the guests are more comfortable with it, and if I do have a weird abstract concept they'll be like, well, I didn't, I've done a Nick show before, like that's fine. Like I know what he's about, even if it's just management. They'll be like, no, trust. Like, that's my goal, is to make it so even management kind of backs me if the artist is unsure sometimes, because sometimes I do weird collaboration things like reacting to TikTok with guests. That's kind of a weird thing, right? So that
But
I
if you
want to
think
keep
about
pushing
it,
things apart. Yeah.
if you think about it though, like the thing that you're doing with these artists reacting to music, like just think about it. It makes so much sense. Like
Yeah.
people love watching us react to music. Why the fuck wouldn't you want to watch your favorite bands, like see them get that same sort of vibe and that experience of hearing a song for the first time and sitting there listening, going, oh shit, that fucking slaps. Like I want to see my favorite artists doing that. I want to see how music makes them feel because I know how their music makes me feel.
That's a big thing, is really bringing is showing the down to earth side of a lot of these guests. Like obviously there are these idols and they're definitely put on these pedestals because they're incredible talents, musicians, people. But just seeing this other side, which is so chill and relaxed, and it's live, and that's my literally number one goal. I always tell PR, I tell management, number one goal is not to put on a good show, it's to make sure the guest is comfortable and having a good time. Number two is to put on the best show. Right, and make sure the chat community, because if the guest is comfortable and having a good time, sometimes I'm like, there's been times I'm like, damn, like I could just leave the chair, you could just hang with chat right now, you know what I mean? Like this is perfect. So that's always my goal, is to make sure they have a good time. And again, that's something I keep pushing, and I want to push it and see how far I can go, so I can have that freedom to collaborate with these guests on deeper levels, whether it's Twitch or YouTube or original music. Like again, I come from the instrumentalist background. Like that was a dream. Are you kidding me? I had enough time finding a vocalist to sometimes do stuff when I was writing music way back when. Well, now it's like, hey, I have this cool platform, and I can write some dope track. Like, why not? Just like, hey, are you vocalist person? Like, you got like 2 days that you want to throw something down, do 50-50 splits. Like, you want to, make some easy money too, and then also it's this big fun event. That's kind of what I do with Will Ramos. I was just like, well, actually, he's made a post, he wants to do covers, and I'm like, fucking me. So I've been doing this for years. And I was just like, yeah, so let's just do the super easy 50-50 splits. Let's do this, make you some money, homie, have some fun, and make something killer. Did that cover. It exploded. I think it got him to 80K monthly listeners from a new account. It boosts. Yeah, like it's stupid just doing a cover. But it was just so hype and fun. And again, that was the starter of that bigger picture, which I see in being able to work with more musicians in that capacity, not just covers, but original music, and just having the freedom to do that. So like that is one of the big goals, is pushing that. And then the other big goal, which again, sorry for such a long answer, is all the original music stuff of like, I have my project Terminal with Andy and pushing that and trying to see how far we can do it as a duo, plus now a crazy Android drummer man.
He is an Android. He's a
Android,
fucking machine.
Yeah.
He's a machine, man. And pushing Nick Knock, my trap metal thing, because I'm like, fuck it, this shouldn't make sense. Doing Thal mixed with trap is illegal. Let's see what happens. Let's see how far I can push it. And having all these outlets and essentially seeing, I'm pushing all these, I'm giving them the love, I'm giving TikTok the love, trying new things. What's going to break through the ceiling and show and kind of push it, and how all these things are going to synergize with each other. So let's say I do one thing here, how does that boost up all of these other 10 things I'm doing? That's been this big picture. This time is building that. It might have made me take longer to grow and made me take a lot longer to do a lot of things, but it's something now where it has this synergy where like I could do a stupid TikTok screaming and it gets a good amount of views, then I can be like, oh, Nick Knock's coming, which is my thing I do vocals on. Oh, you like this stuff? Oh, well, that can tie with Terminate. Oh, by the way, I react to stuff, which is also relatable, and I can react to this and this and this. Oh, also, I can have a cool guest on that ties to, again, all works together. And oh, by the way, if your band makes music, I throw it on my modern metal Spotify playlist. That gets more traction than the deathcore Spotify playlist. So there you go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any sort of, is there any sort of desire, with things like Nick Knock and Terminator, to ever do live shows or anything like that? Or is that just something that...
Terminator, no. First of all, we would need Chris. Like, I don't know if I could play that shit. The drum, like, first of all, that's a number one, like, impossibility. Number two, it's like live shows versus touring. Like touring is no, because it's like I can't take a day off. Meanwhile, 2 weeks of what I do here.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And then like a live show, like sure we could try to do that, but it's like it's worth it really to do one live show, like maybe a festival if we ever got invited to do here and then that'd be cool. But Nick Nog, that I would separate a little bit because that's something I'd be like, yo, like, hey, it's getting some traction. Any of you metal bands or whatever trap artists coming to Toronto, you need a random ass opener. Like, sure, no problem. Let me grab my mic, fucking put some tattoos on me. It takes me an hour, jump over there, put on the backing track, and scream in everybody's face for like 30 minutes. Like that'd be fun as fuck. I'd be down for that, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the extent I'd probably go with it, just because my focus is so much pushing the online stuff than it is pushing the performance side of things.
It probably has more scope for reach as well. Like a show, you get 1,000, 5,000 people turn up to it, but you can do a video and get 300,000 instantly see it in a day. So your reach is
that would be sick. But yeah, like it translates more. What you said is 100% correct. It translates more. Has more reach. It's there forever. I do a live show, like that's cool. That experience is there. Maybe someone posted it online, but it's like I love writing music and making content more than I like performing. It's just how it's always been for me.
Yeah,
it's more nerve-wracking performing because I want to make sure it's done right, and it's more pressure, and people are here to pay for this. They're paying customers, and I want to make sure I do a good job. Where it's like, I just write stuff and make something that's sick.
You should have that attitude. You should perform well when you perform, and
that's why I don't perform anymore, man.
I couldn't do it.
I just have my friends' bands go, "Hey, we don't have a bass player. Do you want to learn bass in 3 weeks and come on tour?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Right.
I just do punk jumps for 30 minutes a night, and that's
and
basically
then complain about your knees the next day.
Yeah.
Hey, talk to me. Do you have so you've obviously had some big artists on the channel, and like I said, you got Winston coming up this week. Have you got like, this is a goal, this is an artist I'd love to either have on for conversation or to play with or whatever it is? Have you got like any goats for you?
Goats. Ooh. In both capacities, and like having as a guest and also working with musically. Okay, yeah. Working with musically. And we're seeing what can happen on the Termin album. But like, I'd love to do a track with like Phil Bozeman. That'd be super fucking crazy.
Ooh.
I know, like just a gnarly heavy ass what the fuck track. I definitely want to work with Rio, and once at least in my lifetime, from Crystal Lake. He's a god tier vocalist, as well as Sean from Make Them Suffer. So underrated. He's so fucking. He's
also
incredible.
just decides he's got the best clean vocals too. Fuck with.
Yeah, he's
just
so
like,
good.
Oh, I do Onslow too, and I'm really fucking cool. Don't worry about it. Jerk.
So fucking good, dude. He is so fucking good. So those would be great. And then like more unrealistic ones, like I grew up loving Sinister Gates, but from Avenged Sevenfold and stuff like that. Like that would be like a childhood like fangirl moment, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then having as guests, Corey Taylor, Alex Sykes,
It's Corey.
If he fucks with metal, Posty wants to jump on the show one day and listen to deathcore, like that would be fucking crazy.
Oh yeah. I feel like he'd be super interesting too, because he seems like a genuinely talented guy in that space. I feel like he would have some really cool insights there.
He's no stranger to the heavies. Like he loves the heavies.
He probably knows heavier shit than I do. That's the thing. It's like that's what I love, and something I want to start expanding into. My dude Eric actually had this idea of getting non-metal people that people have no clue they listen to metal, and like getting them on the show, and then like them being like actually like metalhead as fuck. And
you need to get Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie's like a massive fan of like metal, and I love that.
That is so right.
I haven't asked you that question. We've never talked about this. What's a goat artist for you that you want to like interview? Get on the channel.
Corey Taylor, 100%.
Okay.
Like
Corey Taylor, sweet.
Yeah. And then
you're also fucking original.
For me, like, well, it would have been Keith from Every Time I Die, Dustin from Thrice, obviously. I'd love to sit down and chat with Daryl from Glassjaw.
Keith streams, man. You could probably hit him up when he's in. He'd probably be down to do a fun interview with you guys.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. I think just at the moment, it's a bit sort of touch and go with what he can talk about and all that sort of stuff with that situation.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's
we have a habit of having artists come on, we're just having a conversation, and they're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that thing." Like, sorry, I have to cut that bit out because that part of the interview wasn't allowed to be aired. So which is good. It means they're
That's always
comfortable.
That yeah, so that's always the fun thing because mine's like pure live. So it's like, yo, what you say, homie, like I can't cut that out in
Yeah.
post. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
We had that.
people see it. So it's
But
definitely a weird.
It's rad though, because like even for us, because we're so new to this, and like just feeling how comfortable these guests are, like to sort of just open up and just shoot the shit and answer our fucking stupid questions, you know, like our stupid would you rathers and things like that. Just getting them comfortable and bringing like, you know, just giving fans of their music like answers to shit they would have never thought about, but is entertaining in a way.
Yeah.
Like that's our goal basically, just to build that relationship with these people and be someone that artists are actually looking forward to doing on the press. Like, you know, they look down their sheet and they're like, fuck, I got this radio station, this podcast. Oh, sick, Nathan Johnny. Yeah, those dudes are chill.
So what you just said, and so many people overlook that, is exactly the right mindset. You want to be the person where they say, oh, even if they're not the biggest, I want to hang with these fucking people. So like, I'll take time, even if I didn't have it, to go hang with them. And you'll be so surprised how just, oh wow, all these bigger guests all of a sudden are kind of more into that. And then you're, you know, it's just how it kind of goes. Like you just got to be yourself, have fun, be interesting, make the guests have a good time, and they'll want to come back. Like and it made my fucking day because we had Mark Tremonti on last year, and then again this year for Alter Bridge. Like he said he wanted to come. I was like, okay, I'm not going to complain. You're Mark Tremonti, you know? And it fucking made my heart so happy when he came on. He's like, you know what? Last time I was on here, I found one of my favorite bands because of you. And I'm like, what band is this? Because I need to tell their management really fucking quickly.
100%.
And they were like, yeah. I was like, it was Sleep Token. And I'm like, that is so fucking cool. That is so sick. And I did instantly though. I was like, by the way, here's like a really cool clip. Welcome. But yeah, it's just like even stuff like that is it's so cool and heartwarming that when the guests do want to come on the show and they do want to hang out and they do want to make time for it, even if they maybe otherwise couldn't, because that gets you guys the priority to have the good conversations and make good content and share that with your community, which is important because I don't feel like a lot of people in this space value that as much. They just want the guest for the guest. They don't want to like, oh, the guest is here. Okay, well now I want to do my thing. It's like, no, like make them have an awesome time and they'll be your best friend. They'll fucking want to hang out all the time and do that shit.
Yeah, I love the Sleep Token thing because that's something that we, in hindsight, after the last show, the sound tech Jody was talking to, and he's like, fuck, I wish I knew you guys would come on the show, try to organize something that apparently the band really liked the videos we've done with them. And I'm like, we didn't think to fucking reach out.
They won't. Apparently they won't do press either. So like,
they won't. They won't. Trust me, I've tried that one. But no, yeah, that's the thing is even just the reaching out, and a big thing I appreciate in this industry, and I guess I'll tell you guys too, but you guys probably know this, is really understand your value, right? Understand the value you add to this space and the perceived value people think you add to this space, because that's what equals the opportunities you'll get in this space is what people think you bring this space, right? So
we've been hella lucky though that we've accidentally made friends with the right people that look up. Like big shout out to Janine. Janine's our girl. She works in PR in Australia. She was one of the ones that was like when we did one of the festivals, she came out, she's like, every band that came out of the interview was like, that was so much fun. And then from then on, she's like, oh, I have your backs now. So whatever you need, we've got you. And she's got us just opportunities that like, we have under 100,000 subscribers. We haven't got the cred to pull some of the artists, and we've had opportunities like handed to us that like we sat down. I can share this. We haven't shared the video, but we sat down with Winston last week. We actually met up with him in Sydney for the upcoming album. Yeah. And so that video, like we got to do the interview before the big press do to sit down with them. Like that's fucking insane to me, that finding the right people, making those connections. And she was like, no, you're doing something that no one else is doing. And we appreciate that as a label and as like representatives, and the bands like that. It's exactly like saying, I think it's like, if you're going in with the right intentions and just doing it for the right reasons, that gets recognized so much more than just being like, well, no, I've got heaps of subscribers and I'll do this. It's more just like, we just want to do fun stuff with fun people. Let's see what we can do.
Make their life easier. That's the number one thing I have too with working with PR. Was just like, what do you need? It's all I feel like, what do you need to make this the easiest thing as possible? And it's so fun because they would always be like surprised. They'd be like, "Why are you not giving me a hard time and not annoying the shit out of me?" Right? I'm like, "Why would I do that? You're
Yeah.
helping me do this amazing thing and getting great guests. Like, you know what? I want to make your life as easy as possible. What can I do for you, right, to make that as easy as possible?" And then that's just what happens. You know what I mean? It's just like if you're good to people and nice to people and provide them with that, just again, I'm not talking value monetary. I'm just talking just that intrinsic value of what you can offer with the people they work with, in terms of their time and whatnot. Like people just will want to fuck with you and do that. Doesn't matter if you have crazy numbers.
It's
right?
the difference
just,
between this space now and traditional media. Traditional media didn't have that because it was like, this is the way it's done. And if you work in this industry, and like I've got friends that have worked in the past being like, oh yeah, like it sucked to work with this record label. It was shit. I didn't have a good time. Whereas now they're like, man, I'd love to be in that industry again. And it feels like we're in the dawn of a new era of music journalism in a different way. Like you're saying, you're getting to be like more collaborative in terms of the music space. One, because you genuinely care about the music. You started it because you love it, not just
that's
because you like,
100%.
I like writing, I'm going to do out music. It's no, I want to talk about music and just like experience that with people. That shines through.
Yeah, and I think that's again, it's very important just to be a person that could relate to and just enjoy this shit and have it for the right reasons, and not if you're if you're a channel or YouTuber, this has always been the case, and you're just like, I want to be a YouTuber to make money. First of all, have fun. Or I want to
Good luck.
Good fucking luck. Have fun doing that. Or you know, you're just starting with such a negative perspective. Like, no, like just do you like this stuff? Do you want to do it? Like, yeah, like I did this for the first 3 years, and I had my AdSense slips. It was 50 cents a month I was getting because everything I did was copyright for 3 years, and I didn't care because I was did it for fun. I did it for fun while I was in school, right? I'd come home, hate school, be bored, do guitar covers and shit like that because it was just fucking fun. And then when I took it seriously and started to make money with it, I was like, okay, like great, like that's sick, but like that doesn't change the perspective of what I do or why I do this stuff. Because there's no fucking way if I did this for money, I'd have the longevity to do the insanity and keeping up with all this shit for that long. Hell no, it's not worth the money at that point. So it's you gotta really love it, and that, you know, people can sense that, like when you're in there and you want to have fun and you're a chill person to hang with or talk to, and you're an easy person to work with, and you make their life easier. Trust me, it's an angel sent for a lot of these people in the industry when you make their life easier. They're used to people being annoying as fuck.
Yeah,
so
we're still annoying as fuck. We just make it easier.
But like you know, this chat's gonna be like an eye opener for anyone out there who's like, I might start a reaction channel and just hear us going, you make no money. They're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But you have used the V word a few times, value now, and you said like not monetary value, like bring actual value. But you know, when like you just said earlier that you can barely take a day off, why do you think it's such a dirty or, you know, wrong thing to say, to talk about the fact that we would like to be able to make money out of doing this, because we do feel like we actually create value to the scene, the longevity of the scene, the growth of bands, the growth of the community? Why do you think it's so taboo to talk about potentially making money from this?
And I love the metal scene, but I think it has to do more with the metal scene than it does with YouTube. I mean, you see the rap scene, they glow making money. They're like, oh, yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, get paid. But I think it's just in the metal scene, and this tied actually to a bit of the theme to what I talked about in my Nick Knocktrack industry, and like going a little bit off with that shit, because it's just, these are a lot of the standards I think sent from the old industry and how it was started and the foundations of it, and bands not making, you know, maybe making money back then, like the big bands, but now it being like bands not making a lot of money and being in sometimes shitty deals and not understanding how it works or the business side, and having really talented people who can, you know, arguably be more talented than most people in the entire world right now, or some of the most famous bands, but not understand the business side, or, you know, not understand how to deal with any of the monetary value of having a business, which is what a fucking band is. And then you don't hear them. They're done. You just think like 2 years later, hey, what happened to that person or that band? Huh. Yeah, and that's it, right? You just never hear from them again. And that, to me, is one of the saddest things I've seen in this entire industry, is just really talented people just disappear. Basically, and that's it. So I think that ties it all to just it's the metal scene. Like it's not one where it's ever been, I guess, cool to talk about money. I mean, you look at Attila, which praise to my homie Franz for making so much money off of people being mad at him and making dope music and stuff. But even them, like they're a band that definitely has a lot of controversy because they just do things that like rap in the rap scene they'd be totally fine with. Like it makes no difference about the thing they talk about. They'd be praised for it, right? But I think it's just part of how the scene's kind of developed over those years. So if you talk about money, automatically it's this like evil, greedy,
like you're
thing
there for the wrong reasons, sort of thing.
yeah, which it absolutely can be, right? It's I always say passion first, money second, because how else are you going to make it so the passion is not homeless, right? It's just like a business, or like a restaurant. I always compare it to a restaurant too. It's like you open up a restaurant as a chef or a cook or whatever, and hopefully you don't see it on Kitchen Nightmares. But if you really love what you're doing there, and you love the food, well, that's awesome. But you got to keep the doors open. Like it's just
totally.
simple as that, right? So you have to understand how to monetize that in a way that still offers, in this way, monetary value to then people that come check it out, or their time, or buying your services, or whatever it might be, where they feel satisfied with what they get in return, right?
Yeah, fully.
And that's something I am very open with. Like I made a big video at the start of the year saying, if it's not getting whitelisted, I'm not doing it. It's as simple as that. Had so many videos and had almost 1,300 videos where 90% of them are copyright claimed, and I'm like, this year I'm done. Like I know the value I provide in general, but also now, especially monetary value that converts from these reaction videos for these labels and these bands. I was just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not dealing with it anymore. And since the start of the year, all my shit's been whitelisted on at least the stuff I've done this year, right? Not my back catalog, and it's like, I'm very open with that. I'm like, yeah. And I'm very open with labels. I'm like, I'm not going to ask you to pay me a single dime, but you're going to fucking whitelist my video if you want me to check out your band.
Yeah, this is your job now. Like this is your job. You're helping their artists. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's the bottom line. And that's the other thing as well. Like I was a huge that early 2000s metalcore, screamo, emo scene. Dude, it was so sick. It fucking died because it ate itself, because everyone was in there just for themselves. Every promoter, every label was just in there for themselves. And there was none of this. Like, if there was something like this, I feel like there would have been so much more value and growth in that scene, and it might not have died down. But in saying that, we probably wouldn't have had this big renaissance of the heavy music scene that we're getting now as well.
Yeah, I don't think we would have. And it's definitely been a shift. Like, in fact, I see a lot of my homies get whitelisted now. Like, naturally, it's a thing labels will hit people up with. Like, hey, here's a video, we'll whitelist and stuff, like without having to ask for it. It's like, okay, good, that's a good shift. I'm glad they see the value in that, because I know the conversion costs. Because this is the different perspective I came into this world with. I came in this world, the music industry, from a YouTuber perspective. I know what a pre-roll is, I know what a dedicated video is, and I know those rates, and I know what my rates are for those, because I do those for like whatever plugins or fun meal kits and shit like that, right? I know how much to charge for that. It ain't close to the AdSense I get from the fucking videos. So whitelist my video so I don't have to deal with the headaches, and we'll just move on from that. Okay, that's kind of how I'm bringing that perspective. And as soon as I tell them that, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. Well, just whitelist the video. It's okay. Because I'm like, well, if you want, I can charge dedicated video rate, and still say what I'm going to say about the song. It's nothing special." And then go, "No, it's okay. Well, it's okay."
At the same time, you've let's not fucking beat around the bush. You've paid your dues, and you've got some fucking subscribers, and you've got some views. Now, I think that you should have it all whitelisted, 100%. The amount of people that watch your videos and they don't have a fucking idea who the band is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you watch some of these bands that even, some of our videos, it'll get 10,000 views, and the official video has 1.5 thousand or 2,000 or something like that. And it's just like, surely labels are seeing the value in that. But also on the flip side of that, new reaction channels coming in, there can't just be another dude sitting in his bedroom holding his phone going, "Yeah, well, the new Architect song was really it was heavy, man. That breakdown was sick.
Subscribe."
Subscribe. Yeah. So, make sure you sign up for my Patreon, which is me eating noodles or some shit.
I'd be lit. I'd subscribe.
He does it real metal though.
There you go. You'll probably get a higher CPM. Anyone want to start a YouTube channel? Do the noodles instead of the metal stuff. Trust me.
I'm just saying, baby. Ideas. That's where they're coming from.
Exactly right. But yeah, you're right. It can't be one of those things where it's just any. Well, that's the thing. It sometimes can be. It depends what headaches the labels want to deal with. Like for example, with what I do with my projects, and I started this 4 years ago. I was like, I use it as a marketing tactic. Actually, I was like, oh, by the way, all my stuff's copyright claim free. Like, go have fun. Like Terminator, Nick Knock, I don't fucking care. Like, go have fun, make my solo stuff. Like, go actually make AdSense because I understand that way before. And that would get a bunch of the big reactors to be down with, and then tons of the small ones, which wouldn't get that otherwise. They'd be like, sure, like I can make like $5. Like, why not? Like, hey,
paid for the coffee.
Paid for the coffee, yeah, exactly. So that's something I'm very forward about, and labels can do that. It's a little tricky when it comes to, and I start to understand a bit more specifics of it. It's more to do with when you start to whitelist fully, it gets a little weird depending where the video is. If it's on the labels channel, then it's hard to allocate the funds that is earned by that song's copyright if all the bands are on the labels channel, and then it's a mess with accounting. So like there are little specifics that I get why sometimes labels can't just be like, here, like it's all white, like just do it and you won't get a claim in any capacity, right? Because I know it can sometimes be a headache with the logistics of it. But some of the labels that are still just like, no,
we've complained about them enough. We just like, I've been having a fight with Warner lately because I'm like, they're the one label that's like, yeah, and I'm happy to call them out because I mean, like, join the fucking Times. We work at every other label. They're like, yep, we stoked you did this. And Warner, we've had like, they'll reach out to me being like, hey, Panic at the Disco released a new song. You got to check it out. Oh, we're going to block it though. What? Don't send me the fucking video and then block it when we do it. You idiots.
But Warner, I'm finally attacking the big three titans, but like them, not like the subsidiaries now.
Yeah.
Warner's been decently chill. I'm working with them right now, trying to figure it out. They've been all right. I've been cool with them, and hopefully I can figure it out. And that's the thing. I'm always like, it's always this email thing. Everyone's always busy. I'm like, give me on a call. Give me fucking 30 minutes, and I'll make this make sense to you so simply. And it's just give me a yes or no. Like I don't need it. This is what I provide. This is how much my dedicated videos are. If, let's say I was doing that, I know how much this converts. I know how much your band's going to make if I do 100,000 views on a reaction video without me even charging anything. Trust me. And this is an opportunity cost, by the way, because this is assuming that I would do this, that you make any money on the video claiming it, by the way. So you're welcome, right? Just let me get on a call for 30 minutes. I'll explain it. Done, right? So that one, Sony is tough. Sony stuff.
We've been lucky. We got in with Sony just at the right time.
Yeah, Sony's been okay.
Oh, like Sony or like Sony?
No, Sony.
Good for you guys.
But we'll share. That's the thing, because I genuinely believe being like, this is a platform that you have 10 times the audience we do. Literally 10 times the audience we do. That's something that people should be looking at, because I come from, like, YouTube's new for me. I was on Instagram, and I still am on Instagram, and have a much bigger platform on there. And I understand the value that came from me doing like a photo post. You're there talking to someone for 15 minutes about a thing and saying, here's the reason you're selling, why you like it, what that thing's about. There's so much value in that your audience gets.
I'm not as ripped as you, though.
That's because I actually do fitness as my job. That's what I get paid for over there.
That's fair.
But there's so much value in that. And these labels that have come from the traditional media sense. And like, I know I attacked Warner, but it's not like individuals there. It's just like, here's the brand policy they have, but it's about having those conversations, like you said, and going, we understand what we're doing and where we're at and what value it's adding from a monetary perspective. Like, we're not going to take anything away from you. We're going to give you free exposure through this channel. Just let us make money off the ads that we'll create for the time we're putting into this.
Yeah, exactly.
So why is that such a fucking hard thing? Like, it's
foundations of how the stuff's been built, right?
Yeah.
Everyone up to now has had to pay a licensing fee. You have a song in a movie, which again, it's a much broader, bigger, stream, right? But like movie, you have it in a show, right? Okay, give us a licensing fee, right? You get paid for that stuff. So it's this change of medium that is shocking to the way that the bigger labels have done this for so long. I get it. Like I get where the perspective originates from. I don't agree with its current status. Right,
you can get where it's come from.
I get where it's coming from, and that's where it's like sometimes, yeah, it takes a little fucking convincing of the value it brings and all of that, and how it actually adds to that. And it's just that's how it is. It's like, well, it's a licensing fee, and it's this new medium, how it's confusing and all that. But I'm like, okay, well, guess what? The world's also changed, and it's very different now, and the value brought is different. And like, hey, if you go get all your big metal bands in all the movies, like there, go make your licensing money, or get them in big video games. Like, sure, it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I get that, like, a lot of the bigger labels that have been doing it for so long have the sort of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. But they've also got to remember, and I think it's good that bands are starting to see the value of reaction channels and things like the Twitch streams and all that stuff as well, because they can sort of say, oh, like, we do really want to sign for you, but like, we kind of want to get promoted by, other channels and things like that, because it's like, yeah, we're getting big, but we're not fucking Slipknot, Foo Fighters, Nickelback big.
Yeah.
So there's still room for us to grow, and we want as many people to help us grow as possible. So if I'm going to sign to Warner, and like, the deals might be a little bit better and stuff, but over the next 5-10 years, or 3 to 6 albums, no reaction channels are going to do our shit. Like, why would we do it? What promo are you guys doing for us?
Yeah. Well, like the structure of labels have to change and have been changing, because then I've seen it, and I work with a lot of, like I said, a lot of really amazing A&R people at these labels who are even like a bit younger, and like they'll like watch the streams, and I don't ask them to, because they know, like, that's actually, I think a lot of labels watch the streams because they want to see which bands to pick up. And they're like, fuck, I want that one, right?
Yeah.
But even just like that, they're hip and they get it, and I love working with them, and they're such incredible people, and sometimes they have just no power over what happens based on the rules of the higher of reigns and chain of command, and I'm like, that's understandable, but it's just, it's the old school mentality of how things are kind of, and if they can adapt or they can't. And hey, things like DistroKid exist, CD Baby exists.
Yeah, fully.
It's like, sure, like labels provide more than just distribution. They act as a bank, they act as distribution, they can they direct you. They're basically a general contractor, right? Is the best way I can put it, right? They literally are a general contractor. You can build the house yourself and hire all the people if you kind of know how to get the networking done and get it right, or you just hire a general contractor, right? The difference is the general contractor takes all the money until you repay the loan, and then still takes 80% of the royalties after, depending on your deal. But that's the thing. It's like the independent thing is becoming much more of a prominent thing, and that's direct competition, I know, with labels and how they work and the structure of how labels work. So it's either finding ways to integrate and adapt this new culture of independent artists coming up and finding ways to do this themselves and actually making money for the first time in their life, even with just 200,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, making more money than bands with 2 million.
Yeah.
Because they actually get all the money, and there's no weird splits and stuff, and they don't owe anything to anyone. Or it's just gonna kind of, there'll always be bands that need labels, but it's just, I think it's gonna be less and less and less, which is sad to me, because like I said, a lot of people that work at these labels are actually awesome. They're dope people. And I don't want to see a result of the label decline because the label mentality decline because it's too stubborn. That industry is too stubborn, where they have to start laying people off and like laying off really good people. Again, I have a lot of homies with people, and it's just like that saddens me too. And also, of course, the band's being affected in general and all this stuff. It's like, you as a label, you got a lot of lives that are depending on you to get fed, and you got to make sure it's going the right way and adapting to the future and the future ways of media and all this shit. So.
Do you have any interest in being a part of that process of people to say a band goes, yeah, we're going to leave the label, we're going to go independent? Do you have any interest in using the platform you've got to help, like, either crowdfund or produce stuff? Have you thought about that?
I've thought about semi-management before, because I manage myself for fucking ever, and I have tons of homies, and I'm like, we're in these bands. I'm like, homie, you make, like, wait, you actually make no money? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what, you spend it? No, it's like, no, like, I haven't gotten paid yet for 5 albums ago.
Fuck.
I'm like, and this is not just like, this is multiple people.
Yeah.
And you're like one of the stars of your band that are kind of doing a lot of the things. Like, so many people that are like just the main writers, like multiple different bands, whether it's deathcore genres or metalcore genres, post-hardcore stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like, just don't really make money. It's so talented. And I'm like, it does make me want to be like, yeah, yo, come over here. I'll hook you up. First of all, okay. So you're gonna understand how all these things work. You're gonna understand multiple streams of income. You're gonna understand what YouTube is. You're gonna understand what TikTok is. You're gonna understand what Twitch is. You're gonna understand what Patreon is. You're gonna understand what Cameo is. I'm gonna get you to all these places. You're gonna understand how to release music yourself and how to get on these platforms and how to get, how to fund an album yourself and not have to pay like $100,000 to get it done to get really good quality. Like, it makes me want to do that stuff. And then I'm like, I don't have time, and I just I can't give the proper time to those people that desperately need someone to give that proper time to. Is also I'll just let them call me, and then I'm like, hey, if they need advice and some shit, like whether it's streaming or DistroKid. I have so many people that are starting to do independent stuff, and they're like, how do I use DistroKid? How do I allow this? I'm like, yeah, like I'll show you. Like it's all.
Do you think when like these bands, like part of the reason they sort of forget to sort of tackle the monetary thing is they start to get a bit of exposure, they start to gain a bit of traction, and then there's that fear of like, oh, we're onto a good thing here, the money's going to come, like, but they think that the money's just going to come by itself, and there's a fear of sort of asking those questions, or for potentially losing this upward trajectory.
I think it's just a tough thing in any creative field when it comes to the business synergy mixed in, because there's a lot of incredible creatives that just don't know fuck all about taxes. Meanwhile, like, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, about like business stuff and organizing and accounting for things and bookkeeping and understanding where money's coming from, what to spend it on, how to delegate that. It's like, I think it's just that disconnect where there's always been the creative fields that have always required business, but hasn't really been talked as much about that, because there's always been people you can hire for business, like labels or all these different things, to act as the business for that. And I'm always like, look, if you're doing this, please just understand the business side of what's happening. Because even if you let someone do all the business side, at least know if you're getting fucked.
Yeah.
At the very least, right? Fine, have someone do everything else, right? It's even some things I do. Like I work with PR now, like Nikki, and she's great. She does that. Like I still do marketing myself, but like great. Like I'll let her handle it. I know she's doing an amazing job because I know
what it needs. Yeah, for sure.
But it's like you don't know anything about what's going on. Like you just won't know what's happening and if you're getting screwed or not. And I think that's something that is very important and people need to be aware of in any creative field, is the business side, at least just being aware of it a bit more. I just think they're just sometimes not. I think that's really it.
Talk to me about merch. Is that something that you have interest in? Like obviously you're wearing merch. Do you have interest in that, in the designing and or is that something that's just like you kind of doing it because you kind of have to do it and it's just like another revenue stream, or is that something you have any interest in?
It's all my girlfriend. She does all of her stuff. It's all her thing. She does all the designs. She does everything. I'm like, it's an extra income source if I want it. But I was like, look, like I'm not a big merch dude. And I don't want to take the headache of dealing with it. Like I have this revenue. I like wearing stuff. I love her designs. Her art is incredible.
If you like wearing stuff, boy, do I have the shirt for you.
I fucking love that shirt, dude.
It's my favorite.
I fucking hate you so much.
See, I like doing the creative dumb shit, and then I like fucking with him. And this is my favorite shirt I've ever made. I'll send you one. Don't worry about it. You like wearing stuff.
I'll fucking wear that shit.
You fucking will not. You absolutely will not.
I can't wait for that.
But yeah, so I was just like, why not? Like, so if she wants to do all the designing and get it going and organize the shop, like just take all the revenue that it gets and kind of push forward and do all that. So yeah, it's a thing that I just like. I like wearing cool stuff, and I need different colors and different all this shit. So I'm like, all right, yeah, but it's not an actual revenue stream for me. But I know it's a big revenue stream for YouTubers in general. Hell yeah, like that can be a ginormous revenue stream for YouTubers.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I said this the other day. I was like, I just got real carried away with designing stuff, and I put way too much on there because I was like, and this would be funny, and this would be funny, and then I was like, I put too many options, and people are overwhelmed because I can see the shit that works really well. Weirdly, this is not our number one seller, which I got to work on that.
Oh, it should be.
It's my favorite.
Fuck you guys. Well, dude, we won't take up too much of your time, so we're gonna do the fun part now. All right. Yeah. We're gonna give you some would you rathers.
Oh, okay.
Or do you want to give him would you rathers, or would he prefer the Australian quiz?
Would you like to do
Oh, give me the
a,
Australian quiz. The fuck,
Right.
dude? Let's go,
All
man.
right, all right, all right.
how well do you think you know about Australia?
I know about kangaroos and giant ass spiders, and I know that in
Oh.
any capacity.
Yeah.
One of the questions is about a giant ass spider. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. Okay. Now I think the top score. What's the top score been? Like 6, 7, maybe?
Maybe 7 if they
Yeah.
include the bonus point.
Out of what, 10?
Yeah.
Out of 11.
Okay. Oh, 11. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. There's a bonus question. Yeah. All right. So, who is Australia's most successful band of all time?
Oh, fuck, not just metal. Oh, now I don't know. That's a tricky one. Oh.
Band though. Most successful band.
Like, if it's metal, there's like, it's not going to be a metal band, but like, okay, if it was, it would be Parkway or Thy Art, I think. But I don't know any like Australian acts that aren't metal.
Hey, just speaking of that, I'm just going to interrupt the Aaron quiz here. Do you reckon surely Amity might be the most successful in terms of sales?
Amity is
Parkway?
pretty. Amity's pretty up
Parkway.
there.
As in Parkway, I think it'd be between Parkway or Amity.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
I wonder which would be. I'm going to go do some research. Keep
All
going.
right. The answer is ACDC.
Yeah, all right. I did not know they were Australian. There you go. That's
Well, there you go.
holy shit.
For a bonus point though, what country did they never have a top 20 single in?
Australia.
No, but
What's
you're on
the
the right
question?
track. Yeah, America never had a top 20 single in America.
Really? Not even Thunderstruck?
No,
Not, and that's top
How?
20, not even like top 10, top 20. Doesn't make any
Yeah.
fucking sense.
yeah,
They really
ridiculous,
fucked
right?
that up.
Yeah, marketing. All right, number 2. Name 3 Australian actors.
Oh, okay. There are some.
You're
There are
absolutely
some.
right.
There's
There
a
is,
couple,
yeah.
There are a few. Fuck,
I
kinda
named
watch
one
it.
in this chat so
We've
far.
already mentioned one. Yeah.
Really?
Mm.
Are you one?
And
You guys
Nathan's in
count?
the chat. No.
Yeah. There's that one guy. Fuck, who's? I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I don't know any other names at this point.
I mentioned Margot Robbie.
The one, did you say Crocodile Dundee? The fucking
Crocodile Dundee.
yeah, that
Oh,
one.
no.
But we didn't mention, no, I said Margot Robbie earlier.
Oh, Margot Robbie. Yes, okay.
The Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth,
Thor.
Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe's Australian. I thought he was UK. I thought he was British.
No.
No.
Oh,
Anyway,
I fucked that one up.
you
I
get no
needed-
points in that one.
I'm
Right.
not doing so well on this one.
You might actually get this one. You might. What famous Australian surf town did Parkway Drive come from? Hint.
Two places. I know
it's
Sydney
been-
and Melbourne.
Oh,
It's
it's
neither of
neither.
Neither, that's all I know. And there's the other one, I think that starts with an A. No.
Adelaide.
Adelaide, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Adelaide.
I
That's
know three
yeah. It's actually Byron Bay, so it's basically a little bit before you get. You never heard of Byron Bay?
Never would have got that. I have no clue.
Well, now before you talk with Winston, just drop that bit of knowledge in there.
Yeah.
We're very impressed.
So how's Byron Bay going, bro?
I'll throw that in there.
All right. Next section is going to be about wildlife and food. All right. Australia is home to the world's deadliest spider. Do you know what it's called?
Banana spider. Fuck, that's the biggest one. I don't know what the deadliest one is. Oh God.
That's
I don't know
it.
what that is. I don't know what that is. It's a black tarantula widow. Fucking
It's the
asshole. I don't know.
asshole.
Tarantula widow asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
the Sydney funnel web if
That
you're
shit
if
will
you're ever
fuck you
out here,
up.
we'll take you to the reptile park just near where we live, and you can watch them milk the venom from their fangs. It's pretty fun.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no worries, man.
I've got nipples, bro.
If
Can
you
you milk
guys
me?
are ever in Canada, I'll show you poutine. That's my equivalent to that.
Way less
Just as-
deadly
yeah,
and
just
much
as
more
deadly.
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends how much you eat. You know.
Yeah, you're right.
All
Chunky
right.
boy over here.
A little bit chunky. All right. What type of animal is the Australian Western gobbleguts? Now it's going to be a stab in the dark.
That's nothing. You just said nothing to me. It's not an animal name. There's no fucking way there's something
Yeah,
called a
man.
gobble.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. It's a fish. It's a pretty underwhelming fish as
Yeah,
well.
it's a shit basic bitch fish.
Really?
It's like
Yeah.
it's not even like a cool, colorful Nemo's type thing. It's just like gray and basic.
All right. Food question. What is a golden gay time?
You just ruined that by saying food question, you dickhead.
Oh, yeah, I did. But what type of food is it? So you can rule out it's not our equivalent to a golden shower.
Nice venison.
No, it's an ice cream.
That's a-
Oh my.
That was a very random guess, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was word association. I don't know how it came about, but yep.
All right. Part 3, Australian knowledge and history. What is a bogan?
A bogan, not a bergen.
A bogan,
Bogan.
yeah.
BOGAN.
Yeah, a bogan. I haven't watched, dude. I haven't watched Married at First Sight Australia. I don't remember them saying that one, dude.
Did you just watch it for Booker?
Dude, I saw that metalcore meme. I had to watch the whole.
Yeah.
I had to watch the whole season, dude. Bogan. A cat?
No. It's actually basically our equivalent to a redneck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, I probably also wouldn't have assumed it if I wasn't 100% sure.
All right. Which famous Australian coined the phrase crikey?
Oh, crocodile guy, Dundee man. The guy that got eaten by the crocodile after being the funny crocodile dude.
He didn't get eaten by a crocodile. He got killed by a stingray. But yeah, he got a barb straight through
I
the
got
heart.
one. Oh wait, no, he
Yeah.
died, or I got one.
Yeah, he died, and you did get it. Yeah, you know
did
who he
die.
is.
Yeah,
And
this is a bittersweet one. Okay.
Yeah.
His name was Steve Irwin. So
Crocodile Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, crocodile hunter.
that's him. All right. True or false? Australia in 1932 had something called the Emu Wars, where
True.
soldiers were.
True. I know it's true because on my chat memes on it all the time, and I thought it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever
it's
read.
ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. All right. Last one.
Which of these places has a real name?
If any.
Okay.
I wasn't going to give him that.
Oh,
Funny Knob Creek, Pensioners Bush, or Mossy Nipple Bend.
Y'all got a weird place over there. It's beautiful, but what the fuck happens over there? Okay. The nipple pinch bend, that one has to be not real.
Mossy Nipple Bend is real. Pensioners Bush is real. And Funny Knob Creek is also real.
I should have assumed because there's no way someone could make that up. You know what I mean? Like no one.
I mean,
could
someone
make
did
up
make that up. That's the names.
yeah.
I guess.
Someone made up and was like, yeah, this is the cool thing to call this place. Everyone want to live here at Mossy Nipple Bend.
Mm. Yeah. There's guys with really hairy chests live there.
Oh,
Or women
gross.
with really hairy chests,
Oh,
you know? I don't
stop it.
discriminate.
Yeah, you're the worst.
All right. You got a grand total of 1 out of 10. Oh, no.
I got 2. Hey.
Wait.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, you got 2.
You
yeah.
knew more, and I said.
Yeah, oh, true. Yeah, true. All right. But we are going to ask you a couple of would you rathers just because I need to know. All right. You've got to listen to one of these songs every day, once a day for the rest of your life. Okay.
Yep.
With Arms Wide Open by Creed or Photograph by Nickelback. What do you choose?
Creed.
Is that
I
just
get sick
for
of,
Monty?
I just get sick of the photograph at that point. I just be like, I don't want to look at it. So
But what about your arms being wide open? Surely your shoulder's going to get sore.
I'd be fine with that.
Every time it comes on,
I
like, damn it, not
Hey,
again!
we're talking to
I
Mr.
guess-
fucking Boulder Shoulders here.
I get some good gains, at least. I'm looking at fucking photograph.
That's the secret to my programming. I just listen to heaps of Creed, and it's working wonders.
All right. Do you want to give him one more before we do the divisive one?
Yeah, okay.
What one do you want to give him?
You meet your hero, your absolute hero in life. You have to either vomit on them or they're going to vomit on you. Which do you
I'll
pick?
vomit on them.
While there was no hesitation, he's like, "Fuck you." Bleh.
Oh yeah, I love how just like that was just so easy to answer. Like, yeah, man, I'll spit on him.
Who is it? Who are you vomiting on?
Yeah.
Just so we can warn them.
I didn't really think of anyone in particular now. I was just like, if this was a scenario, I'd just be like, I'm done. I got it. You know, if you gotta go, you gotta go. I don't know actually. Because it's like there's heroes and then there's like guitar heroes and shit like that. I guess I have to let them vomit on me then. I feel bad because I don't think Sinister Gates would like if I vomited on him too much.
Did you think he'd like to vomit on you? And then he has to deal with the fact that he was sick
No
on
one
you.
likes this act. No one wants to do this acting usually. I would assume.
I got a story, Tom. I don't know if I've ever told you this. So years back, I went to Thailand, and I don't know if you've ever been to Thailand or you know what it's like over there. So
He met a lady who turned out to not be a lady.
Gotcha.
Not true. So over there, they've got like their local spirits and stuff, which are really, really strong and really hectic. But they get the tourists by saying you can like go to these bars and you pay a certain amount of money, you get to drink unlimited all night, and you can drink these buckets, as they call them. So I drank a few of those, and I felt like instantly like really sick after a couple of them, and I just felt myself like needing to run to the toilet and vomit, and I was in there. And all I remember was I opened the door and I couldn't hold it anymore. And I was just doing the whole pre-vomit move. And all I can remember after that is seeing this poor dude coming out of the toilet going, no. And I've just projectiled all over him. And I've just gone, holy shit. And I just went and grabbed my girlfriend and I was just like, we got to go like now. And just stumbled out of there. Worst moment of my life. I felt like the biggest piece of shit.
People wonder why I call you a dickhead on the channel.
Do you think they comment on the YouTube channel at all? Like just,
Oh, God,
just,
I
just
hope
hate
so.
Oh
watching
my
guys?
god.
That was me.
The problem is we don't have anyone that hates Johnny on the channel. Everyone thinks your idiocy is the funniest thing in the world. It kills me. More Johnny!
All right, final question. This is a divisive one. It's split bands down the middle. We're divided on it. All right, say you're going to go on stage and play a show, right? You've got to go onto stage, either perfectly dry, putting on either cold, wet socks or cold, wet underwear. What do you choose?
Oh, the fucking sucks, dude. Easily.
My
Damn
dude,
it.
Johnny,
Really?
you can leave.
Yeah, because like, it's just like you just get used to it. I live in fucking Canada, dude. You just go outside and you have cold, wet socks. Like it's like that's nothing. You just get used to it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But apparently, and I think this, like, the more we've discussed this, the more we find like we chatted with Nova Twins yesterday, and they were saying one of them was like my side and one of them was dickhead over here. And they're saying, I think some people just like have really sensitive feelings about their feet. I couldn't care less. Like I walk barefoot down the street and wouldn't care. I'm like, my feet are dirty, whatever. Whereas some people just like that grosses them out. We're just saying, and Nick actually mentioned this before, you're a little bitch. So
I did not say that.
if there's one thing to take away from the channel is that Nick thinks Johnny's a bitch. You heard it here first, people. Putting it on a t-shirt.
Dude, thanks so much for hanging out, man. Like it really was like really cool to get a lot of that insight from someone who's been doing this for so long. And yeah, we absolutely look up to what you're doing. And you know, you might not like to take the credit for it, but you are and have done great things for this whole space. And it's really fucking sick. So well done on that. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, man. Hopefully we see you in Canada or you're out here sometime.
Fuck yeah. Thank you guys for the kind words. I definitely got to brush up on my Australian history if I come by. If I do that. But yeah, likewise to you guys too. It's cool to see, you know, just two dudes that like this music, shoot the shit, have a good time, and just having fun and doing it for the right reasons, and are able to get cool guests and just have a good time and have fun. You know what I mean? That's important. I you know, commend you guys for doing that, and you know, setting a good example for, you know, other people that also watch you guys and maybe who are whatever YouTubers I want to start, and they'll at least see you guys and be like, oh, that's sick as fuck. So like, do I need to just be funny, or is the Australian thing, or do I need to be two of us?
We are definitely not funny, although we are Australian. You're right. So
the Australian thing. There you go. I want to see a rise in Australian YouTubers. That'd be lit. I fucking love that.
Yeah, hopefully.
a little bit goes a long way. But yeah, we really appreciate you being here. And anything you want to shout out before what's like, you've obviously mentioned a bunch of projects, but you've got anything that you're like, this is the thing I want you guys to go check out right now.
I do dumbass things on the internet, on all the platforms usually. It's at Nick Nocturnal. Other than that,
That works.
Nick Knox next track's coming, I think well, I don't know when this comes out, but probably end of August, start of September. Perma's next track is coming out start of September. It's gonna be the one after that.
Fuck yeah.
And project with me and Phil LeBon from All Our Mains, I think is also gonna start to roll out within a couple months. So I don't know if you guys like breakdowns, stuff's coming.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Busy
Hells
man.
yeah, I like that. All right, my dude. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much, bro.
Thanks for having me.
Peace.
See ya.